Kai never expected his morning walk would turn into something so strange. He was walking down the dirt path near Pine Valley with his rescue dog Luna, a black and brown mixed breed with one floppy ear. The morning was quiet except for birds singing in the trees. Luna was usually calm during their walks, but today she kept stopping and looking into the forest. Her tail was straight up and her ears were moving back and forth. Kai had never seen her act this way before. "What's wrong, girl?" Kai asked, watching Luna sniff the air. Before he could reach for her leash, Luna ran into the trees, pulling hard enough to make the leash slip from his hand. "Luna, come back!" Kai called, running after her. He jumped over fallen trees and pushed through bushes, trying to keep up with Luna. The forest was getting thicker, and he could barely see where she went. All he could hear was the sound of leaves moving as Luna ran ahead. After running for what felt like forever, Kai stopped to catch his breath. He couldn't see Luna anywhere. The trees were so thick here that he could barely see the sky. He was about to call for Luna again when he heard her barking somewhere ahead. Following the sound, Kai found Luna standing near an old wooden cabin. The cabin looked like nobody had lived there for years. The windows were dirty, and plants were growing up the walls. Luna was pawing at the front door and whining. "Luna, we shouldn't be here," Kai said, trying to grab her leash. But Luna wouldn't move. She kept scratching at the door and looking back at Kai like she wanted him to open it. Kai looked around. The cabin seemed empty, but something felt odd. Why would Luna lead him here? She never acted this way before. Taking a deep breath, Kai walked up to the door. It wasn't locked, just stuck from not being used for so long. When he pushed it open, dust flew everywhere. Luna ran inside before Kai could stop her. The cabin was dark inside, with old furniture covered in sheets. Sunlight came through the dirty windows, showing cobwebs in the corners. Luna ran to a closed door at the back of the cabin and started scratching at it. Kai followed, his shoes making marks in the dust on the floor. When he opened the door, he found stairs going down to a basement. "Luna, we really shouldn't," Kai started to say, but Luna was already running down the stairs. Kai took out his phone to use as a light and followed her. The basement was cold and smelled like dirt. Old boxes and broken furniture were everywhere. Luna was standing in a corner, wagging her tail and looking at something behind a big box. Kai moved closer and heard a sound, a very quiet meow. Moving the box aside, Kai couldn't believe what he saw. There, in a small space between the wall and the box, was a cat with 4 tiny kittens. The mother cat looked scared but didn't run away. She was very thin, and her fur was dirty. "How did you get in here?" Kai whispered, kneeling down slowly. The mother cat watched him carefully but stayed with her kittens. Luna sat down next to Kai, her tail wagging slowly. She looked at Kai as if to say, "See? This is why I brought you here." Kai noticed a broken window near the ceiling of the basement. The mother cat must have found her way in through there and couldn't get out with her kittens. They would have died if Luna hadn't somehow known they were here. "Good girl, Luna," Kai said, patting her head. "But now we have a problem. How are we going to help them?" Kai lived alone in a small house near the forest. He had never taken care of cats before, especially not kittens this small. But he couldn't leave them here. The mother cat was too weak, and the kittens wouldn't survive in this cold basement. Looking around, Kai found an old cardboard box that was still strong enough to carry them. He took off his jacket and put it in the box to make it soft. Now came the hard part, getting the cat family to trust him. The mother cat watched as Kai slowly moved closer. He talked to her quietly, trying to show her he wanted to help. Luna stayed back, knowing somehow that she needed to give them space. It took almost an hour, but finally the mother cat let Kai pick up the kittens one by one and put them in the box. They were so small their eyes weren't even open yet. The mother cat followed, staying close to her babies. When Kai picked up the box, the mother cat jumped in to stay with her kittens. Luna led the way back up the stairs, looking back often to make sure everyone was following. The walk home was slow and careful. Kai had to carry the box steady so he wouldn't scare the cats. Luna walked next to him, guiding him around roots and rocks. She seemed to understand how important it was to be gentle. By the time they got home, the sun was high in the sky. Kai's arms were tired from carrying the box so carefully. He set up a warm corner in his spare room with blankets and water. The mother cat seemed to relax a little once her kittens were somewhere safe and warm. "I should probably call you something," Kai said to the mother cat as she drank water. "How about Shadow? Because you were hiding in the dark." Shadow looked up at him for a moment, then went back to drinking. Luna lay down near the door, watching over her new friends. Kai smiled, knowing his quiet life was about to change in ways he never expected. The next few days were filled with new challenges. Kai had never taken care of cats before, and now he had 5 of them. He went to the pet store and bought cat food, a litter box, and everything else the workers said he would need. Shadow was starting to trust him more. She would let him sit close by while she fed her kittens, and sometimes she even purred when he gave her fresh food. The kittens were growing stronger every day. Their eyes were starting to open, showing tiny bits of blue. Luna was the biggest surprise. She acted like a second mother to the kittens, always checking on them and wagging her tail when they moved. If one of them made a sound, she would run to Kai and lead him to check on them. One morning, while Kai was making coffee, he heard Luna barking from the spare room. He ran in to find one of the kittens had crawled away from the others and gotten stuck behind a box. Luna wouldn't stop barking until Kai picked up the kitten and put it back with its family. "We need to name them," Kai said, watching the kittens crawl around. There were 2 orange ones, one black one like their mother, and one that was white with gray spots. He decided to call the orange ones Rusty and Maple, the black one Night, and the spotted one Storm. As the kittens got bigger, they started exploring more. Kai had to watch them carefully so they wouldn't get into trouble. They would try to climb the furniture, play with anything that moved, and sometimes even chase Luna's tail. Luna never seemed to mind, she would just wag her tail more to make them happy. Shadow started following Kai around the house when he did chores. She would sit and watch him clean, or jump on the counter when he was cooking. Sometimes she would bring him one of her kittens, like she was showing off her babies. One day, while Kai was working from home on his computer, he heard a crash from the kitchen. He ran in to find flour all over the floor, and 4 flour-covered kittens running around leaving tiny white footprints everywhere. The bag of flour had fallen off the counter, and now his kitchen looked like it was covered in snow. Luna was trying to clean the kittens by licking them, but she was just getting flour all over herself too. Shadow sat on top of the fridge, looking down at the mess like she was saying, "They're your problem now." Kai couldn't help laughing. He took pictures of the flour-covered kittens before cleaning them up. Each one needed a bath, which none of them liked. Luna sat by the sink the whole time, making sure they were okay. Weeks passed, and the kittens grew bigger and stronger. They were running around the house now, climbing on everything and playing with toys Kai bought them. His quiet house was now full of life and noise, but he didn't mind at all. The biggest problem was keeping them out of trouble. One morning, Kai woke up to find all his toilet paper had been unrolled through the house. Another time, the kitten somehow got into his closet and pulled out all his socks. They were always finding new ways to cause chaos. Luna loved every minute of it. She would play with the kittens for hours, letting them jump on her and chase her around. She was teaching them how to be gentle. If they played too rough, she would walk away until they calmed down. Kai's neighbor Rin started coming over to help with the cats. She was good with animals and knew a lot about taking care of kittens. She helped Kai make sure they were healthy and growing right. "Luna did an amazing thing," Rin said one day, watching the kittens play. Most dogs would just bark at cats or chase them. But she knew these kittens needed help and made sure they got it. Kai agreed. He couldn't understand how Luna had known the cats were in that cabin, or why she was so sure about helping them. But he was glad she did. His life was different now, but in a good way. The kittens had favorite spots in the house now. Rusty liked sleeping in the sunny spot by the window. Maple would curl up in Kai's laundry basket. Storm loved sitting on top of the bookshelf, and Night would sleep anywhere Luna was laying. Shadow was a different cat now too. She wasn't scared anymore, and she loved playing with string toys Kai would dangle for her. At night, she would sleep at the foot of his bed, purring loudly. One evening, while everyone was sleeping, Kai heard strange noises outside. Luna started barking, and all the cats ran to hide. When Kai looked out the window, he saw something that made his heart stop. Standing in Kai's backyard was a big deer, but it wasn't alone. Behind the deer was a small fawn, shaking and limping. The mother deer kept looking around, like she was worried about something. Luna stopped barking and sat by the window watching. All the cats came out from hiding and joined her. Even Shadow jumped on the windowsill to see what was happening. Kai turned off all the lights in his house so he wouldn't scare the deer. In the moonlight, he could see the baby deer's leg was bleeding. It must have gotten hurt somehow. The mother deer looked tired, like they had been running from something. Then Kai heard it howls in the distance. They weren't common in this area, but sometimes they came down from the mountains when food was hard to find. The mother deer must have brought her baby here trying to escape them. Luna started whining and pawing at the door. Kai knew that look. It was the same one she had when she found the kittens. She wanted to help. "We can't just leave them out there," Kai said. He had a fence around his backyard, but he didn't know if it would keep wolves away. The baby deer needed help, and the mother deer looked too tired to keep running. Kai opened his garage door slowly. The mother deer jumped a little but didn't run away. Maybe she knew they were trying to help, just like Shadow had known when they found her. The garage was big enough for the deer to stay in, and it would be safer than being outside. But getting them inside would be tricky. Kai got some apples from his kitchen and made a trail into the garage. The mother deer watched him carefully. Luna sat quietly by his side, and all the cats watched from the windows. After what felt like forever, the mother deer slowly followed the apples, leading her baby into the garage. Once they were inside, Kai closed the garage door most of the way, leaving just enough space for air. He found an old blanket and put it down for the fawn. The mother deer let him get close enough to check the baby's leg. It wasn't cut too badly, but it needed to be cleaned. Kai worked slowly, talking softly just like he had with Shadow and her kittens. He cleaned the cut and wrapped it with a bandage. The mother deer watched everything but seemed to understand he was helping. Luna lay down near the deer, keeping them calm. Through the window to the house, Kai could see all 5 cats lined up, watching everything that happened. His house had become a shelter for all kinds of animals who needed help. The wolves' howls got closer, then faded away. The deer stayed in Kai's garage all night. In the morning, the fawn's leg was better, and the mother deer looked more relaxed. When Kai opened the garage door, sunlight poured in. The mother deer led her baby out slowly. Before they left, they both turned to look at Kai and Luna, as if saying thank you. Then they walked into the forest, the fawn staying close to its mother. Back inside, everything went back to normal, or what counted as normal now. The kittens were playing, Shadow was cleaning herself on the couch, and Luna was watching over everyone. Rin came over later that day, and Kai told her what happened. "Your house is turning into an animal sanctuary," she said, laughing as Storm climbed up her leg. "It's all because of Luna," Kai said, watching his dog play with the kittens. "She knows when animals need help, and she makes sure they get it." Months passed, and the kittens grew into cats. Rin adopted Maple and Storm, so she could visit often. Rusty and Night stayed with Kai, along with Shadow. His house was full of love and fun, with 3 cats and 1 very special dog. Sometimes, early in the morning, Kai would see the mother deer and her fawn at the edge of his yard. They never came too close, but they would stop and look at the house before walking away. Luna would wag her tail when she saw them, happy they were okay. Kai realized his life had changed completely since that morning Luna pulled him to the old cabin. His quiet house was now full of purring, meowing, barking, and playing. But he wouldn't want it any other way. Luna had shown him that helping others, whether they're cats, deer, or anyone else who needs it, was what made life special. Every morning when he woke up to find cats sleeping on his bed and Luna watching over everyone, he smiled, thankful for his weird and wonderful family.